Hello, everybody. Austin Hale Shaw here, founder of Creativity Matters and author of The Shoreline of Wonder on Being Creative. We're going to continue on with our series of how to build cultures of innovation, how to build cultures of innovation. And the difference between creativity and innovation in my book is that creativity is really kind of contained within the individual, and innovation is more about the collective. It's basically groups of creators working together to solve bigger creative challenges and more complex problems and bring those into the world. And so whether you work in a large organization or a medium-sized organization, or whether you work on your own, all of us still, no matter what we're working on, have to intersect with the lives of other people. So this series is about creating cultures of innovation no matter where you are. Again, whether it's in a business situation, it's a professional situation, it's a personal situation. Cultures of innovation allow us all as groups of people to function in more creative and innovative ways. The other thing about this is that creativity, again, as individual, is about getting our basic needs met, of that need to connect with the world and affect it in a meaningful way. I really view creativity as being this defining trait of being human, and therefore it's a basic need. And so we can fulfill our needs through the creative process without bringing forth anything innovative in the world, at least something that affects things at the cultural level, like the big cultural level. And that's totally fine. If people are happy in the world, to me that is awesome, because most of the people actually in the world are not happy right now. So if people can just get their basic needs met of connecting with the world and affecting it in a meaningful way, wow, suddenly that's a huge thing. But for those of you who are either running your own business or part of an organization, you know that in order to kind of move ahead, that it's important to consider, like, what can I do that's original? What can I do that's inspiring? What can I bring to the world that's new and useful? Or perhaps you're just, there's a problem out there in the world. Maybe it's a technological problem, a scientific problem, a philosophical problem that you're just wanting to answer and understand better. I mean, for me, my whole exploration of creativity is, I've been trying to come up with innovative ways of even looking at creativity. But for most, for those of you who are wanting to take this, again, sort of to the next level, we have to understand how we can empower the people around us so that we can truly empower their creativity, as well as creating groups of folks that are working as a cohesive whole, almost like a pod of people working together to bring forth, again, difficult or original ideas into the world. And so the first thing that we talked about was, which relates to connecting in the world, is appreciating. Just extending that sense of goodwill that allows people to feel more relaxed in the world, allows their stress levels to drop, and allows them to feel open to the possibility of trying new things. Next, we talked about the importance of acknowledgement, this willingness to appreciate and say, hey, I thank you for trying. Thank you for doing what you did, whether it worked out or not. In any creative organization, we have to have the license to be able to make mistakes and to fail if we're actually to come up with anything that's truly creative and innovative. So we acknowledge people for their efforts. Now, and that goes along with making a difference, or what I call affecting the world, right? It's the active portion of creativity that we as human beings are acknowledging to others. Hey, I see that you're doing that. Thank you so much for trying. Thank you for putting forth an effort to solve that. That's acknowledgement. Today, we're going to talk about the third aspect of this. And this is the aspect that really deals with meaning. And again, the whole series here is about how to build cultures of innovation. And what that means is, like, what can you do in order to create a field of well-being by which creativity can prosper, and by which we create the conditions by which innovation is a possibility, that is more of a possibility. So this last piece pertains to what I call empowerment. Empowerment. And empowerment is, in my opinion, in my understanding of how to build cultures of innovation, is simply this. We empower people by seeing them as creators. By seeing them as creators. What do I mean by that? First and foremost, we recognize them as other humans with the desire to connect with the world and affect it in a meaningful way. That they too, at their core, have creativity as a basic need, okay? Next, we start to enroll them and ask them questions about what they think about something. What they think about. What's your opinion on this? Even if they don't seem particularly qualified in order to answer the solution. This is such an important point that so many organizations miss out on. And I got to put myself in that category. There's so often where I've thought about, for example, how am I going to affect other people through these teachings on creativity without actually asking people what it is that they're wanting. What is it that you want in your life? What are the challenges that you're up against? What do you need help with? Those sorts of things. And thankfully, through the years, I've learned with lots of people saying, hey, you just don't just like write in an ivory tower, ask people what they want. I now know how to connect with my audience better. And that's because I'm empowering them in my process of understanding how to be a better teacher on creativity and innovation. Another group I think of that comes to mind is a company called IDEO, which is basically they're a product development company working down in Silicon Valley. And they go out to consumers. I remember they're working on how to build a better shopping cart. They don't, again, go back into some back room and try to figure it out on their own. They go to a grocery store and they start interviewing people about their experience with shopping carts. You know, here's a parent who basically a shopping cart almost toppled over and their child was hurt. Or here's another person whose the wheels got stuck. And so people, if you ask, everybody's had these incredible experiences with mundane things like shopping carts. And if we just go out there and empower them by asking them what they want or what they could do better, suddenly we're tapping into the resource of our fellow human beings. How crazy is that, right? It seems so obvious in a certain way, but it's not. There's so many ways in which we make assumptions about how a person is, or just like, that person doesn't know, or they're not that smart, or they're not that educated, or whatever, like little fear-based things we have going in our mind that keep us separate from the world around us. When we can drop all those sense of this person knows this and this person doesn't know anything, and that I need to only talk to these people and not those folks, but when we can drop out of those sort of fear-based, almost xenophobic approaches to getting things done, we open up a whole new realm of possibility. And that whole new realm of possibility comes from seeing our human beings first and foremost as creators and empowering them as creators in our process, whatever we're working on. And I don't know how it feels to you, but when somebody says, hey, Austin, I really value your opinion on this. Would you help me out? You know what makes me feel? It makes me feel great. It's like, wow, I'd love to help you on that. We really do want to help with one another, with one another's creative challenges, things that are that allow a person to connect and make a difference and have meaning in their life. Well, if it's connecting on that, since we're all human beings, it might, just affect your life as well, right? So the more that we can share our process with others, the more great information we can glean, and the more that we start to, again, power other people. At an organizational level, this has to happen with everybody, not just the so-called leadership team or the management or the employees, but the people that come in and clean the offices, the clerical staff, the consumers and customers, even other contractors that are working outside but come in from time to time. The more, even the post person, it doesn't matter who the person is, everybody's creative. So the more that we can start asking questions, especially when we're stuck on things, the more we start to build these enriching, luminous cultures of innovation. That's how we do it. First by by appreciating, then acknowledging, and then empowering. Those are the three basic ways, the core ways in which we go about building cultures of innovation. That's how we start building cultures of innovation. It's not rocket science, folks. It's not rocket science. It comes back to, again, acknowledging our own core needs as creators and then extending that will out to others so that we can build networks of creativity and innovation around us. Does that make sense? So I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear if you've had an experience where somebody's empowered you, where they've asked you a question out of nowhere and you gave them a solution and that kind of blew their minds. If you have any experiences like that, please share that in the comment section below this video. I'd love to hear from you. If you're not on my website right now, you can go to www.austinhillshaw.com. Lots of great resources there on creativity and innovation. And finally, if you're willing to share this with others, please do hit the like button or write a little post and share it. I'd love to get this information out there. I'm trying to be as useful as possible. I really feel the more people that are creative in the world and the more people have their innovation skills activated that are building these cultures, the better off we're going to be as a species, and the better off and the better we're going to do for our planet, okay? There's a lot that we need to work on right now. And it's only going to be solved from creativity. It's only going to be solved through creativity and innovation, from people feeling empowered and their willingness to bring their own gifts into the world. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Austin Hill Shaw, founder of Creativity Matters and author of The Shoreline of Wonder, reminding you to connect deeply, to make a difference, and to inspire creativity in others. Thank you so much for joining me.